Hi, boys and girls. Here we left off with 1897. Why does it keep doing that? When President 25, William McKinley, moved into the White House with his Vice President, Garrett Hobart, there were 9 future presidents alive. President 26, Theodore Roosevelt, was serving as Assistant Secretary of the Navy. It might not have seemed very exciting after his wild years as a cattle rancher in the Badlands of South Dakota. But before long, Roosevelt would get a bigger job. He'd become vice president after the death of Garrett Hobart. President 27, William Howard Taft, was serving as a judge and teaching at the University of Cincinnati Law School. Taft was a big man who had a reputation as a fighter and wrestler when he was growing up. 28. Woodrow Wilson was teaching at Princeton University and liked to ride his bike around campus. Other future presidents were busy with different jobs. President 29, Warren G. Harding, was running the Marion Star, an Ohio newspaper he purchased with 2 friends. President 30, Calvin Coolidge, was working as a lawyer in Northampton, Massachusetts. He learned all about hard work helping out in his father's general store when he was a kid. He'd worn his hair on the long side in college, but he had it cut shorter when he took the job in law and realized what serious work he would be doing. President 31, Herbert Hoover, had studied engineering in college and was managing a gold mining operation in Australia. Pretty impressive. (1897). Presidents 32, 33, and 34 were kids then. President 32, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, was 15 and loved sailing when his family vacationed in Maine. Roosevelt was a collector too. He kept detailed notebooks about his postage stamp, bird nest, and egg collections. President 33, Harry Truman, who was turning 13 that year, played piano and loved to read, especially biographies. Later on, before he became president, he would work as a timekeeper for a railroad gang and spend time farming cows and pigs. President 34, 7-year-old Dwight D Eisenhower, was helping out in the family garden with his brothers. The boys also worked at their father's creamery after school. When he had free time, Dwight loved playing baseball and football. Snapshot.
The
Theodore Roosevelt wins the prize for president who had the most adventures on his way to the White House. After he finished law school, he took off for Europe and climbed the Matterhorn at the Alps. He moved out west for a while, bought a ranch in South Dakota, and spent his time riding, roping, and hunting. There he is. Even after Roosevelt became vice president in 1901, he snuck off to explore. He was climbing Mount Mercy, the tallest peak in the Adirondacks, when a messenger arrived to tell him President William McKinley had taken a turn for the worse after being shot by an assassin in Buffalo. Roosevelt left for Buffalo the next day, but McKinley died before he got there. Roosevelt was sworn in as president before he could even unpack his bags. At 42, he became the youngest president to take office. (1961) But it was President 35, John F. Kennedy, who was the youngest to be elected to the job. Kennedy was 43 years old when he took the oath of office. The next 10 presidents were alive then too, scattered all across the country. President 36, Lyndon Baines Johnson, was serving as JFK's vice president. That was a fancier job than others he'd held. As a kid, Johnson had shined shoes and picked cotton. After high school, he'd moved out to California to pick oranges and wash dishes to earn money for college. President 37, Richard Nixon, had served as vice president under Dwight D Eisenhower and hoped to be president next. But he lost the 1960 election to Kennedy, so he left the White House and moved back to California. Many people think our nation's first televised debates had a big role in Nixon's defeat. TV was new then. Nixon didn't practice as much as Kennedy did, and he also refused to use professional makeup, even though he'd been in the hospital recently. After the first debate, his mom called him on the phone to ask if he was feeling all right. "I'm fine, Mom." (1961) President 38, Gerald Ford, was serving in Congress. He'd come a long way from his awkward teenage years when he bought his first car, a '75 Ford Coupe with a rumble seat, and promptly set it on fire by covering the hood with blankets on a winter night while the engine was still hot. Oh no. President 39, Jimmy Carter, was running a peanut farm in Georgia and serving on his local school board. President 40, Ronald Reagan, was working as a TV host. Before becoming president, he had also announced play-by-play sports on the radio, acted in movies, and served as governor of California. President 41, George H.W. Bush, wouldn't lead the nation for another 28 years, but in 1961 he was president of an oil exploration company called Zapata Offshore. (1961) And presidents 42, 43, 44, and 45 were all kids. President 42, Bill Clinton, was 15 years old and going to school in Arkansas, where he loved to debate and playing tenor saxophone. In 1963, he would be chosen as a delegate to Boys Nation, where he'd meet President Kennedy and shake his hand. President 43, George W. Bush, 41's son, was 15 in 1961 and attending prep school in Massachusetts. By senior year, he'd signed up for the cheerleading squad. President 44. President 44, Barack Obama, was born that year, the son of an American woman and a Kenyan man who'd met at the University of Hawaii. Their little boy would grow up to be the first African American president of the United States. And President 45, Donald Trump, was a teenager then. He was attending New York Military Academy, where his father had hoped he'd learn some discipline. And where is the next president now? It's exciting to think about, isn't it? This is Hillary Clinton. The truth is, America's earliest presidents weren't all that different from one another. Most were wealthy, white Protestant men who might have been surprised if they've been around to see a Catholic or an African American man elected president, or a woman nominated right here, Hillary Clinton, or a woman nominated by a major party for the highest office in the land. But all of those things have happened because America is always changing, and it is changing now. When voters choose the next president, they won't look to the past, but to the future and the ever hopeful vision of what America could be. So where is the next president? At least 10 of our future presidents are probably alive today. If we go by the odds, 3 of them are likely serving in government somewhere already. 1 is in college or in the military. 3 probably have other jobs, perhaps practicing law, building things, teaching, running a business. And at least 3 of our future presidents right now are kids, just like you, boys and girls. So where is our future president? What are they doing now? They might be solving math problems, or reading books, writing poetry or code, testing a hypothesis, or learning to dance, making art, or making change. For now, they're busy growing up, growing into the job, listening, learning, and getting ready to lead. Just like you, boys and girls. Presidential birthplaces. Got them all over. Look how many are out here by us. Here's Michigan. Look how many presidents come from our side over here. Good luck to our candidates today. And boys and girls, dream big, aim high. One of you could be our president.